The social media world paying close attention to a court case that could have wide-ranging implications for your privacy. Julia Borston explains what's going on. Julia.
Well, Michelle, the big question is who owns your tweets? Twitter says you do. The court says Twitter does and should hand them over when subpoenaed. This all started last year with an arrest during Occupy Wall Street protest. Prosecutors asked Twitter for information about a protester, Malcolm Harris, including tweets he had deleted. Twitter told Harris, and Harris and Twitter both fought the subpoena. The judge said Twitter must comply with the subpoena because, quote, by design, Twitter has an open method of communication, saying, quote, the user is granting a license for Twitter to distribute that information to anyone, anyway, and for any reason it chooses. So now Twitter is appealing, arguing that users have a property right to the content they post and also have a Fourth Amendment privacy right to their accounts, saying that deleted tweets are not public. Now, Twitter here is trying to establish that users have control over their tweets, hoping to set precedent for its service and also potentially for other social networking services. Michelle?
Thank you so much, Julia.
So private tweets or not, and I'm still not sure I understand how this works, but we're going to ask our guests about it. Is Twitter doing enough to protect user privacy?
Attorney Andrew Stoltmann says this is the next big battle for the company. That Twitter has to up the ante on privacy for its users. Business Insider's Nicholas Carlson couldn't disagree more. And Andrew, I know you are a Twitter user. Why is this such a huge concern? What aren't they doing that they should be doing?
Well, I think Twitter's doing everything that they should be doing, and I actually give them a lot of credit because it would have been really easy for Twitter to just fold up like a taco and give this information, which is probably something many other companies would have done. So I think Twitter truly is fighting for the privacy of the people who do the twitting, and I think that's a good thing.
Are we talking about the privacy of the tweets?
No.
Or of the user information, my private information that I give to Twitter to open up the account. What are we talking about here?
That's it. Nobody has a problem if you're talking about tweets and turning those tweets over. Where we have the problem is if you're talking about turning over an IP address, if you're talking about turning over deleted tweets or drafts of tweets. That's the problem that most of us have with this judge's ruling.
I have here in my notes that it says that you say privacy is a huge issue for Twitter and the company needs to protect user privacy. I mean, we have you booked on this panel as saying that they got to do more. No? I got that wrong?
No, look, they have to do more than just object to it, and they've done that, and I think they're going to fight it really hard, which is what they're supposed to do.
Nicholas, you're saying they've done enough already, right?
No, I think they've done a lot, and I think the big point here, though, that Andrew's not getting at is that, Andrew is in the law practice of going after investor fraud, which is this important, and, privacy and these sorts of issues are just way less important to users who really care about things like identity theft. They don't want to see their accounts get hacked.
I thought this was about Twitter. I didn't know this was about Andrew. Is Twitter doing enough to protect the privacy of those users?
Andrew is right. Twitter did way more than enough. Twitter went after this judge when there's a subpoena from the court, and then the user said that he didn't want to turn the information over. So Twitter said, they put 6 months of resources into fighting back. So Twitter's done more than enough. And Twitter is a very clear service about privacy expectations. You know that when you go on there, you're tweeting to the public. And besides, let's talk about Twitter compared to other social services. All it is things you say. You compare that to Facebook, where you put personal information on there. Twitter is a place where you're saying things that you want the public to know. A small percentage of people say things that they want to be kept private, and Twitter is very clear that when you are private, you are private. So Twitter is doing a great job in terms of privacy.
Andrew, who owns the content? That's what the judge was getting down to with his ruling. He says I think he said the individual owns the content. No, he says Twitter owns the content, and they can do with it what they please.
Yeah, and that's just not true. I mean, if I'm the author of a tweet, it's no different than if I'm the author of a book. I own that book. I'm the one who put that book together. I'm the one who put that tweet together. It's mine. And to argue that Twitter or any company owns that, it's just ludicrous. Look, this is a state court judge. In my opinion, it's almost certain that his decision is going to be overturned. And if it's not, then we need a law passed by Congress to, basically determine whose information this is. It is.
Nicholas, where do you stand on that? Is it owned by Twitter or is it owned by the individual? And because that it comes down to then who is able to provide this information to the courts. Right?
I think that the ownership issue is sort of obfuscating what's going on here, which is that they're trying to prosecute a crime and they're trying to subpoena Twitter for the information. And all of these companies have plenty of guidelines which users should look up if they're concerned about what they'll turn over to authorities if they're asked by authorities under subpoena. Twitter went the extra step and alerted the user that they were being subpoenaed. The user said, I'd like to take my information private.
All right.
They allowed it. So Twitter's done a lot in this regard.
Let's take this to the nth degree then. The fear, I guess, on Twitter's part is that if they open up this can of worms and the privacy issue goes out the window, this could hurt their business model going forward if people are fearful of tweeting information that could be used against them in a court of law. And therefore, this being a business channel, this could hurt their prospects as a publicly traded company in the future. Andrew, do you agree?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I think the constitutional term is it has a chilling effect on people who are contemplating drafting something. And that's problematic. That could ultimately hurt Twitter's bottom line. And I think it's a legitimate fear that the company has.
All right. Gentlemen,
now, the big point, I mean,
Thanks,
Twitter.
Guys.
I'm sorry. We're out of time, Nicholas. My apologies.